Well, this week was definitely better than last week, but I still did not have fun watching this game, even whenever I was at the stadium. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Titans Rundown. I am your host, Micah McCamey, and last week, of course, we took that horrible L to the Bears, gift wrapped it to them, handed it over like it was a good Christmas present or something, and we just kind of gave away that game. And we were hoping to come back, bounce back in week 2 against the Jets, home opener. The Jets had to fly all the way from San Francisco to Tennessee. We know how hard that is on a team, especially a team with an old quarterback, but we lost. And honestly, I'm not too happy about this. I'm in a better place than I was last week because it wasn't as bad of a game, but I'm still not completely happy about this. But before we get into like all the negatives and me being a Debbie Downer, everything is the worst. Levis sucks. I've already seen enough through 2 weeks in a completely new system with a completely revamped roster. No, let's take a look at some of the positives to start out, okay? Because we all need a little bit of positivity after these first 2 weeks. All right, so first thing, defense. Yeah, we may have one of the best units in the league this year. Like, I'm not over-exaggerating on that, and I will stand by that even if you do tell me that you think I'm dumb for saying that. They kept us in that game for most of the game. Like, if it wasn't for Big Jeff hitting Rodgers on the head, then this defense would be looked at really fondly right now. Like, they were able to stand up after Levis fumble and actually forced a 3-and-out. Then they forced a field goal after an interception, which, by the way, I didn't put this in my negatives, but that's kind of a dishonorable mention for those. Treylon, come on, man. You got to fight for that one a little bit more. Not saying that Levis didn't make a good throw, or not saying that Levis made a good enough throw, but you still got to fight for it, especially whenever it's your 2 hands against his 1 arm. But anyway, getting back to the positives. Yeah, no, defense is still really good. L'Jarius Sneed is honestly kind of a beast. Like, LJ is awesome. And anybody that was trying to say that he was a system quarterback, well, I think you can just shut your mouths right now. Let me think. What else is there? D-line still looks pretty decent. Run D was very solid for most of the game. We'll get to that later, though. And I wish that we could have gotten more pressure on Rodgers, but that Jets O-line, whenever, Tyron Smith is healthy, is a lot more solid than you'd expect. Who else is there? There's one more. Oh, yeah, linebacker core. Yeah, no, Ernest Jones is an absolute dude at linebacker. Like, I felt like he was all over the place making play after play after play. Like, dude was getting after it on defense. And overall, defense played really good. O-line, besides MPF, improved. Now, they won't tell you that, and will tell you that the O-line still sucks. But I'm here to tell you that J.C. Latham only let up 1 pressure, 0 sacks. Skronsky did the same thing, but with an extra pressure added on. And Lloyd Cushenberry let up 1 pressure, no sacks. Not as good of a day for Ravens, but still, like, I think it was like 1 sack, 4 pressures, and we'll get to MPF later. But overall, pretty good day for the offensive line, especially Latham. That's a game that Latham needs to have to show that he is a decent left tackle and that he will become one of the better left tackles in the league. Whether he's protecting Levis or he's protecting, I'm not too sure who else it would be. If it would be someone from this year, or if we would draft a right tackle this year and then wait another year to go get a quarterback, like a Prince who was promised, like Nico or Cam. No, not Cam Ward. That's this year. Like a Nico or a Arch Manning, somebody like that. Like, that would be the only thing that I would think of. But anyway, yeah, no, O-line still looks pretty solid, and I'm really excited to see how it improves as the year goes on with Bill Callahan doing his thing. Okay, third thing. Calvin Ridley is still a beast, dude. Like, it showed in the stat sheet finally, but shout out to D-Hop, who was the unsung hero of this. He got Sauce Gardner off of Calvin Ridley, which let Calvin Ridley bake. Dude had a really good game. 4 receptions, 77 yards, a touchdown, and on top of that, a rushing touchdown. Like, he was the reason that our offense was effective today. And I can't believe that Jags fans actually had the guts to say that we actually made a really bad move by signing him, and that he sucked, and that he always ran the wrong routes, and that he would always drop passes. Now, granted, he did drop one pass. I'll say that. He dropped a pass on a deep ball. That could have been, big for the game, but still, that's not anything to be too upset about. But anyway, Calvin Ridley carried the offense. Great game by him. Another thing, Callie called a better game. He had a little bit of a weird thing, like he didn't run the clock out so he would make sure that we got the last play. Like, it ended up not mattering in the end, but I feel like that he should have let that clock run down, then call a timeout, then get the last play. And if you don't get it, you lose. But if you do get it, then you leave no time for the Jets to do anything. And you get to either go for two and get the win or just force overtime, So just wanted to say that. But overall, good play calling by Callie. And I still think that he is, in these first 2 weeks, has gotten held back by Levis just a little bit. We'll get to the next game later, but still. Anyway, Pollard. Pollard still looked pretty good. Same thing with Tajay. Tajay got a little bit more involved until he hurt his ankle. But they both played a pretty good game. And then last thing is Levis improved. Now, I know that I'm going to get a lot of flack for that because, yes, he still had that bad turnover, and yes, he still had an interception. First off, that interception was not his fault. Either Traylon should have caught that or that pass should have been broken up. It should never have been intercepted. But second off, apart from those two plays, he throws a ball to Calvin Ridley for the end zone. I know that it wasn't the best pass in the world and that Ridley made a really good catch. But, if he throws that just a little bit shorter, then that could be picked off. And obviously, you would prefer for him to throw it a little longer, but still, he looked a little bit more comfortable and confident in the pocket. Just overall a better game. And I'm still really hoping that he will take that next step next week against Green Bay. But I'm getting ahead of myself because that's saved for the end of the episode, after the positives and negatives. But still going into the negative, Levis still was not that great. He still did have the interception where, I'll be honest, if he did throw it just a little bit further, that's probably an easier catch for Traylon. I'll say that. And then he did have the stupid fumble, which Callahan got onto him. That's another positive for Callahan. He was able to go after him and, make sure that he realized that that was stupid. Because it's happened in back-to-back weeks. So, you can't really beat that out of him. Oh, man. This Will Levis experiment right now is not going too great. And I was not expecting this. I thought he was going to be that dude, like the Josh Allen that, came out of the draft. Everybody thought he was going to be awful. Everybody thought he just had a strong arm and that was it. And he just went on to prove every single person imaginable wrong. But that was not true. Allen ended up becoming a beast. And I was hoping that would happen with Levis. And that was his ultimate upside, was that he could be Josh Allen. Maybe a little bit worse, but still Josh Allen. But he hasn't been that. Not yet, at least. Now, who knows? Maybe he makes a big jump and really just improves and starts kicking into the high gear as the season goes on. But as it stands right now, I just can't trust him yet. Now, here's the thing. I hope that he does play good enough to the point where it's willing to give us another year with him, because if he's bad this year, apart from Cam Ward, I don't want any of the quarterbacks in this year's class, right? I like Cam Ward, but I don't love him. I don't like any of the other quarterbacks either. Carson Beck, I think, is a game manager for Georgia and is just kind of, just a quarterback that's on a really good football team. I think he'll be a bust. Shadur, don't even get me started. And Quinn Ewers, I was really high on for a little bit, but then he got hurt again, which makes me think that he is injury prone and that he's not really going to have sustained success at the NFL level. So there was that. But then I've got to also bring up the fact that the year after that has a really good draft class. So that's why I hope that even if Levis doesn't end up being the truth, I'm hoping that he kicks into high gear this season, ends off the year hot, makes us go into next year with him. We draft a left tackle. Then Levis comes in and either plays really great and we don't have to worry about the draft class the next year, or he doesn't end up playing that great and we can go draft Nico Arch, the next Manning. It would be great to have a Manning back in Tennessee. And Nico, of course, I would love to keep him in Tennessee. But anyway, getting away from that rant, sorry about that. I know, I'm not trying to portray Levis just yet. I promise. It's just that sometimes those thoughts get a little bit exciting for me. But still, I think that Levis can play pretty good next week. It's just that if he doesn't, then this Titans fan base is going to be calling for his head, and they're going to be calling for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So pressure's on you, Levis. Please just do not blow it. Okay, next negative. Special teams. Come on, man. Like the kick returning and the punting was mostly decent, but like another blocked punt? Really? Did we not learn our lesson from last year? Why on earth are we trying to injure Ryan Stonehouse? He may be the best punter in the entire NFL right now, and he is behind one of the worst special teams lines I have seen, and it got him hurt last year. And I do not want that to happen to him again. I do not want to go through watching that punter have his leg broken off, almost torn in half, because the special teams can't get their crap together. I was blaming it on the special teams coordinator before, but now it's got to be like just a personnel problem in general. That was just going to be a short rant. I just wanted to get that out of the way because it's something that I felt pretty strongly about. But another thing, Levis made some good throws, but we still had way too many 3-and-outs. Whenever it came to third down, we just could not convert. Like, unless, like, there were, like, a couple of plays where it was like, oh, yeah, no, that was good. But, like, there were a lot of plays where it just felt like that we could not do anything on third down. Like, it just wasn't good. Like, and yes, some of that could be blamed on play calling, but I like to blame it on the offensive personnel itself, especially Will Levis and another dude, which I will get to later. He is going to be the final segment, and I am going to have a blast with that. But anyway, yeah, no, we can't keep affording to have this many 3-and-outs. Like, if you're going to be a mid-offense, at least stay on the field for long enough to where the defense can rest. Because I want to see this defense ball out as much as everybody else does. Like, this defense is really good, but, like, I feel like I'm not going to be able to see this defense be really good because of the fact that Will Levis and his offense keep on going 3-and-out, which means that they have to get rushed back onto the field, which means that they don't have any time to rest. It's like the Vols offense. It's like the Vols defense back in 2022. Like, they were scoring, except it was the exact opposite problem. They were scoring so fast that the defense had zero time to rest. Oh, man, yeah. So, again, I don't need, like, obviously I want the offense to score almost every play. You know, that's just the fan in me. But, like, if they're not going to score, at least stay on the field long enough to the point where the defense can at least get something going. So I've spoken my piece on that. Okay, another thing, the run defense, I complimented it earlier, but it did kind of fall off as the game went on. Breece Hall just got more and more big holes to run through. Like, just a lot of bad things were happening with the run, and it was just like, it was hard to watch, honestly. Like, I was just really upset about it. I was upset with watching that run D just fall apart because the offense hadn't done its job. It was just a little frustrating. But anyway, I wanted to get that one out of the way. The last one, I'm not going to get as, like, passionate about this as I did, like, how I felt about the retrospective on my draft grading whenever I did the Jalen Duncan thing, but because my voice is shot out, as you can potentially tell, like, my voice was lost for most of the day today. Like, I talked like this, and it sounded like I was gonna, offer you an F-150. The F-150 is a great truck. That's what it kind of sounded like whenever I was talking for most of the day. You can ask the people that I know. But, post-editing Micah, back at it again. I just wanted to clarify something. I said NPF in the original thing, but I accidentally edited it out by some weird reason. So I just wanted to let that be known. And yes, it's that NPF still looked horrible. You blew it! He dragged the entire offensive line down. The entirety of it. The centers, and the guards held their own against Quinnen Williams. J.C. Latham was having the best game that I've seen so far this year from him. I mean, I know it's only 2 games, but, like, massive improvement from J.C. Latham. And NPF just has to come in and be like, no, we're not gonna pass protect. We're just gonna sit around. We don't really need to do anything. And I stood up for this dude, okay? So don't think that it's because I want to see him fail. Like, I stood up and said, hey, I think that this dude has some serious potential to do some really good things for this team. And he didn't today. Like, hopefully this is like a 1 week thing and that he'll start playing a little bit better like next week and the week after that and the week after that, or 2 weeks after that, because it's a bye week then. But, like, still, I'm hoping that he can get a little bit better, and I think Bill Callahan can make him a little bit better, but still, like, come on, MPF. You gotta get your crap together, buddy. Okay, that's the end of today's episode. It was relatively short compared to last week. Oh, no, wait, one more thing. We have the Packers at home next week. Okay, if we lose to Malik Willis at home against the Packers, I may end up joining in the call for Will Levis's head. I don't know. It'll probably be like emotional reaction to it, but like if we lose to the Packers, especially because of our offense, like if it's because of our defense and we lose in the shootout, then I'm fine with that. But if we lose because of our offense, I will not be a happy camper the next time that you see me. Like, I have been calm these last 2 weeks. I have kept it low, and I've kept it calm. And I've been like, it's only 2 weeks, and the offense still has a chance to improve. But if we lose to Malik Willis, the dude that we traded away because we were all in on Levis, I will lose my mind. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's episode. I have Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok all under the Titans Rundown. Y'all can see my immediate reactions after games. Y'all can see what I think, and you get to see sometimes my own personal life. And I also have a YouTube channel for people listening over podcasting. Again, I'm going to try. I may end up trying to make a video this Friday about like what's going on around the NFL. But like if I don't, I'm sorry. That's like an empty promise. But like I'm just hoping that I can get back to doing those. But anyway, that's going to do it all for me. This has been a rundown of your Tennessee Titans. I love y'all, and tighten up.